What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and in the last Dynasty video, we went through our off-season of Season 2. We've done a lot of recruiting, we've done some position changes, we changed some jersey numbers around. It's always a fun time to get to the off-season, bring in some new talent, and see what the upcoming roster is going to look at, and that's what we're going to look at today. This is the preseason video for Season 3. I'm really excited about what we're going to look at. We're going to look at the schedule. We're going to do a little bit more recruiting. We're going to redshirt some players. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can tell, this is year 2017. Hard to believe this is year 13 of my Dynasty file. This is the farthest I've went in a Dynasty file ever. I just don't ever remember going this far, but I've had a whole lot of fun with it, and I know you have as well. But let's start off with the preseason options. And let's look at the schedule. I've already made the schedule. As you can tell, it's a strength of schedule of A+, so we got some good teams we're going to go up against. Starting off, we're going to have a little home game against Kentucky. I wanted to play an SEC school of some sort. It's just been a while. I feel like we play nothing but like northern teams, so I want to get some southern flavor into our schedule. So we're going to take on Kentucky, and then second game is against our arch rival Iowa. We've had a good storyline with them. The first season, we beat them. Last year, they beat us in that first game, and then we beat them in a thriller in the bowl game. And now we're going to play them again every year, of course. So they're 12th in the country, and we're 17th. And then we're going to take a little trip up to Syracuse, New York. We're going to take on the Orange. I'm really excited about this one. Of course, we got a great storyline with them. We went 3 seasons with Syracuse, or was it? No, maybe up to 4. Had a lot of fun with them, but we're going to add them to the schedule. Should be a whole lot of fun there. Now let's head into the Big 12 schedule. And it's one game after another. There is no breaks in between. So starting off at Nebraska, 19th in the country. Then we got Baylor, heading to Missouri, who gave us a terrible game last year. I want to try to seek some revenge on them. We're going to take on Oklahoma State. They're 23rd in the country. And Texas A&M heading there to what was it, College Station. They're 8th in the country. So we got, 5 ranked games on the schedule. And we're going to finish out the season with Kansas State, Colorado, and at Kansas. These are all 3 in our division. So it's a really good schedule. Should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the non-conference schedule, especially like Kentucky, just a little bit different, and definitely that Syracuse trip. That'll be quite a fun, to say the least. Let's go to redshirt players. I've done this as well. We're going to go through these. So our quarterbacks, we got like 7 dudes, but I am going to redshirt Pete Caesar. He was the athlete turned quarterback. Now, what I did do is you go over to my membership options to Touchdown Club. I've done a little video. I've done a breakdown of the recruiting class. Make sure you go check that out. And I went into great detail about Caesar and all these other guys. Well, this was an athlete turned quarterback. We're going to redshirt him. As you can tell, we got plenty of dudes ahead of him. And we got Brian McNeil, the freshman quarterback. We're going to redshirt him as well, which is pretty obvious. Halfback, we only got 3 guys here, and Jonathan Doty's a freshman. I'm not going to redshirt him because of that depth. He's going to play at least a little bit. He'll definitely be playing some special teams as we'll look in the depth chart here in a little bit. Fullback, we don't use the fullback, so we don't have to worry about that. Wide receiver, I don't think, yes, I did redshirt one. Daryl Kirk, the lone freshman we did pick up. As you can tell, he is far and away worse than the rest of these that are above him, so we won't need him this season. There's a good chance we'll move him to tight end next year. Tight end, speaking of, we did pick up this really cool freshman, Nick Temple, 78 overall, but we're not going to need him this year. We really only play about 1 tight end at a time. However, that's going to change a little bit with our playbook, and I'm going to show you that a little bit later. But we got Neal, we got Baker. I just don't think Temple will have to do a whole lot this year, but I expect him to do some cool things next season. Offensive line, starting off at tackle, I had 2 options. I got a freshman and a freshman. I went ahead and redshirted Rivers. I think he's a future starter for us. But offensive linemen don't tire all that much in this game, so he would never get to see the field unless somebody got hurt. But we're going to have this other freshman back up our right tackle and 4. Guard, we got 5 freshmen. I just realized this when I was making my recruiting video. Then I got 5 freshmen at guard, but we're going to redshirt one of these freshmen, Julian West. We got plenty of dudes ahead of him. I think we'll be fine. Plus, I prefer to redshirt somebody who has a chance that can really do something down the road, but yet ain't going to play a whole lot this year. So that's what I'm doing. And I need 4 active guards at all times. So that's what we're doing there. Center, natural selection here. Brian Reed, he will redshirt. We got Owens above him, and we got House that's going to back up Owens. Defensive end, this was another situation. We got 2 freshmen. Steve Willis, he was an athlete. I'm really excited about his future. However, I don't think we'll need him this year. I just need 4 active. I do need Davidson. He is a right end. I needed more help on that end. So he's going to be actually a day one starter for us. I'm really excited about that. But otherwise, Willis, he just wasn't going to play a whole lot because of McKenzie and Morrow, or they run the same position. Defensive tackle, I'm not redshirting any of the guys who were available to redshirt, not even the freshmen, because we run 5-2 whenever it presents itself. So we always got 3 active going. These guys tire very easily. So I always prefer to have 5 active right here. Outside linebacker, there's nobody to redshirt. Middle linebacker, we do have one we can, and that is the freshman Kyle Busch. As you can tell, he will never see the field any this season, even if I didn't redshirt him. Cornerback, we have plenty of options here. We technically got 7 guys on the roster, but I'm going to redshirt Bo Gutierrez. He was our starting free safety last year, but I'm going to need him next season. We're not going to need him as much this year, and we're going to look at the free safety situation here real soon. But we play a ton of man, and I'm going to be playing some dime. I finally got the bodies and enough speed, I think, to run some dime whenever we go up against like at least 4 and 5 wide sets. But as you can tell, we got several dudes that are just better than he is, so I'm okay with redshirting him. But I'm going to leave Cox. He's a junior. I don't really want a redshirt or junior, so I'm going to keep him active as well. Free safety, I'm going to redshirt the freshman Ryan Williams. As you can tell, we got some dudes above him that are just better. Strong safety, all 3 of these guys were eligible to redshirt. I'm going to redshirt 1. I only need 2 active, and we're going to look at the depth chart to see who I'm going to start here shortly. Kicker, we only got the 1, and punter, I could redshirt our best punter, but we're obviously not going to do that. All right, so we've looked at redshirting players. Let's go look at our roster just a little bit more and look at the depth chart. Let's go here. So when it comes to quarterback, pretty simple. I think we're going to have Fowler start. I think he just earned it. I think he's got the better arm of these 3 guys right here. We can come over here and look. You look at, let's see, where's it at? There it is. So he's got the same throwing power as Peoples, but he's got a little bit better accuracy of the 3, and that actually means a whole lot to me. Plus, his awareness should help out a little bit as well. As you can tell, it's just a whole lot better. So it's just an obvious choice. He's going to be our starter. Now, he can't run much. None of these guys can, but that's okay. We can work around that. Halfback, Whitaker and Crawford. The offense isn't going to change much, but we will look at some of the changes. But I always need 2 or 3 active all of the time. But Whitaker's our number 1, which is pretty obvious, and Crawford right behind him. Fullback, we don't have to worry about. Wide receiver. So here's what I'm going to do. So we got Big Tommy Miller. He was one of our best receivers last year, slot receiver. He's a punt return, special teams guy in general. He's going to be our X receiver. That's why I have him at the number 1 spot. We run a lot of out routes with our outside receivers. I think with his speed of 96 and those little zig outs, I think are going to be a whole lot of fun to work with by putting him on the outside. We have an impact receiver in Matt Thomas. I am going to have him stay on the right side. I'm just going to try that to see how that goes. I flip plays and such anyway, so I think we're going to be fine there. But we're all going to have Kyle Ford be our slot receiver. He's a 91 speed. And then we got Jackson behind him, and then Williams and such. So all 3 of these guys, you see, they're all kind of the same, except you look at the catch rating. One's just a little bit better than the other. We'll just see what happens. I may rotate these guys out a time or 2. I may have Williams be over Ford. We'll just see how Ford responds at the slot receiver position. If not, I got a couple of other replacements waiting in the wings, and I even got this kid right here. We could technically go 4 wide if we wanted to, but this offense doesn't really do that. But I like the group in general. Tight end, Neal over Baker, but we're going to see Baker quite a bit this year. Then we got offensive line. Pretty simple. I got a Hall, I got Smith, then I got Owens, then I got Parks at right guard. So I had a choice to either go with the freshman or the redshirt freshman. I went with Parks. Only because I think of his run blocking. Is that why I've done that? Yes, he's just got a little bit better run blocking. I need more run blockers at guard than anything else. So I'm going to give the redshirt or the true freshman the nod, and we'll just see how well he does with that. But I do have Cox as the backup for both guard positions. And right tackle, very obvious, that is Chris Ford's spot. Defensive end, left end specifically, we got Anthony McKenzie, redshirt senior. That's his spot, as you can tell. We got Morrow behind him, and then Bradley's a right end. We got him on both sides. You look at right end, we got Davidson and then Bradley. So the true freshman, there he is, Rory Davidson. Looks like he'll be a 4-year starter for us unless he just wants to go pro early one day. Defensive tackle, pretty simple. I got West and Curtis and Powell and then Owens. All 4 of these guys are going to play quite a bit. It didn't really matter who I had 1 or 2, to be honest, because these guys are on the field at all times. Outside linebacker. Remember, we run a 5-2 and a nickel, so the most outside linebackers you'll ever see on the field for us is just one. For now, I'm going to have Burton be one starter for like nickel, and then for the 5-2, I think I'm going to have Alford be the starter there. So these two guys are going to get equal reps because, as you can tell, they are the same just in terms of talent, their awareness. I mean, they're just a spitting image of each other. So both of them are going to play equally. Middle linebacker, pretty simple. Impact linebacker, Eric Sanders, obvious what we're going to do there. I just want to make sure, middle linebacker, I probably need to, I just now noticed that I got a redshirt senior. I may put Higgins right here. I just now realized that I'm going to put Higgins over White. His awareness is not as good. I don't know if he'll ever see the field because he's a backup, but I'm going to give him at least a little bit of love there and maybe get some reps because he'll probably be our starter next season. Right outside linebacker, we don't have to fool with that. Cornerback. So here's what I'm going to do here. We got Chad Smith. If you remember, this was a transfer that had to sit out a year. He's our number one guy. Mason was our number one guy last year. I'm moving him over to the other side, and we got Bridges playing nickel. We play a ton of nickel, so he's going to be on the field quite a bit. And then we're going to have Scott Cox, who played quite a bit. He was actually our number two guy last year. He's actually going to be our dime cornerback. So we got plenty of depth there now. Free safety. So here's what I'm going to do. As I've stated earlier and what you've seen me play for the last 3 seasons, we play a ton of man. I need speed everywhere. So our new starter at free safety is redshirt freshman Sam Dodd, only because of the speed. I typically control the free safety most of the time, so that's all I really need. I think 88 speed is more than enough, especially compared to his backups, as you can tell. So that's what we're going to do there. Strong safety, we're going to have Kyle Little, true sophomore, be our starter because I actually care more about his speed than I do his awareness. We'll see how well that works. But compared to Wheeler, both got terrible awareness. So is that like a big difference there? I don't think it is. I think their awareness for both is terrible in general. So we're going to have Little. Let's just use his speed. Might as well. Again, he's going to be covering a lot of dudes anyways. Then we got kicker. Pretty obvious what we're going to do there with Washington. Our punter is our best punter. Obviously, he's going to start right there. When it comes to kick return and punt return, we're going to have Jonathan Doty, the true freshman halfback, be our new number one guy. We're going to have Charles Williams. This is the guy who's kind of competing for that slot receiver position, even though he's really tall. And then we got Kyle Ford, who is our new number one slot receiver. We'll see how all that goes, but this is the lineup for kick return and for punt return. I normally put offensive guys here because they don't fumble the ball as much. That's why you don't see any cornerbacks and such. Kickoff starter, I'm going to put my punter right there. Long snapper, what I normally do is I put my backup center right here. However, my backup center is a senior, and I don't care if he grows or not. No offense to him, but he's a senior. He'll be gone after this year. So we're going to have Owens be our starting long snapper. And that is it for the depth chart. Let's go to view and edit rosters, and I want to check out the team captains. So you go over to awareness, you sort it by that. Robert Mason is our defensive captain, and our offensive captain should be our impact wide receiver, Matt Thomas. So there you go. Those are your captains. Let's go to program standards. And so we had a little bit of an issue last year. We had some dudes in trouble. And let me go over here and pick up my little highlighter. There we go. NCAA team interest. It went up a little bit more. I'll usually try to keep this down next to nothing, but we got more points to play with this year. I think last year I had like 45 points. Now we got 56. So I'm going to try to over discipline if I can and get this bar down. Unfortunately, the kids that always get in trouble are your starters. It may be nice if a backup would get in trouble and we could take advantage of that, but we'll see what happens there. All right, I think we've done all that. I want to look at my playbook. So we've made a few changes, nothing drastic. I have added Gun Ace and Gun Ace Twins. We're going to add a little 12 personnel. It's still West Coast offense from the shotgun, but we're going to get a little bit bigger now, and then we can run the ball a little bit more, and we're going to have 2 tight ends out there a little bit more often now. So our backup tight end, he's not the fastest in the world, but he can still catch okay. We'll see how well he performs. If he doesn't do well, I can always put in that freshman. But I need somebody who can block more than anything. So when we use these formations, I want to run the ball a little bit more. So we're going to try some of that. Otherwise, nothing has really changed. I still got normal wing tight end, wide trips. I did add trips over. I just don't know if I'll use it much. But 90% of the offense is going to come from these 5 or 6 formations right here. So I'm really excited about these little simple additions. And we'll just see what happens with it. All right, so that is the playbook. I think we're ready to recruit. Actually, let's go to Athlon Sports. Let's look at that first. Preseason polls. So they got Cal, Penn State, Virginia Tech, Purdue, Ohio State, South Carolina, so on and so forth. Where do they have us? Should be, there we go, 17th in the country. We're B overall, B- on the offense, B- defense, and a B+ on the special teams. Okay, so we're always kind of hovering. At least we're staying in the top 25. But due to our recruiting restriction, it makes things a little bit tougher, which is the whole point of it. Let's go to Heisman Watch. So we got Arizona State quarterback, a wide receiver for Hawaii. The Iowa halfback, will face him in here in a couple of videos. A halfback for Purdue. And then we're going to go up against this kid right here, Quentin Speaks, the wide receiver. So that means that quarterback that won the Heisman last year, I guess he was a senior. I didn't pay attention to that. But either way, we'll have to deal with that kid here not too long from now. Let's look at the preseason All-Americans. I don't know if we'd have anybody on here, but I'm just quickly going to go through it. First team, no. What about second team? I'm going to say no as well because all of our best players last year were all seniors. But let's go over to the Big 12. And here we go. Tommy Miller is a first team All Big 12 team. I expect him to do that and better. And now that we got him on the outside, what else we got? Is that it? That's it for the first team. What about the second team? We got two players, a kicker and a wide receiver. So they don't think much of us heading into this season, even though we're in the top 25. Let's go look at the conference outlook. This should really tell us. So they got a second in the country, or a second in the conference, even though they barely have two players on the preseason list. But there's Texas A&M, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, so on and so forth. But we can look at the divisions. They have us winning our division. There's right there with Nebraska. Then the rest of these teams that haven't played all that well this dynasty, of course, Missouri, they're giving us trouble. But either way, Nebraska is going to be, pretty good as always. So they got us predicted to win the division again. You look at the South. Texas A&M, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. Look at Texas all the way down here with Baylor. They just really dropped off the last couple of seasons for whatever reason. Toughest places to play. I don't think we'll ever have our stadium on here. It'd be cool if it did. It would take us a while to get up there. That's why I hardly ever pay attention to this list. It don't really mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. Now I think we're ready to recruit. So let's go ahead and do that. So when it comes to our roster, here's our situation. We got a ton of freshmen. If you actually go back, yes, let's just look here. We got 32 freshmen. I've just done a lot of red shirting, and we picked up a bunch of players these last couple seasons. This recruiting class is going to be really, really small, so I don't want to over-recruit either if I can help it. But as you can see here, we need a halfback. It says we need a fullback, but we don't use the fullback position, so I'm going to let the game just give me a walk on there. That way I don't have to waste points. But I wouldn't mind getting at least one halfback. That would be great, if not two. And we need some linebackers. We're kind of thin there. Everything else, according to my notes, I wouldn't mind getting at least one more defensive tackle. In our safety positions, free safety and strong safety aren't the greatest in the world. If there's an absolute stud that would come here, I would definitely take him. So we know what our recruiting rule is. The only 4- and 5-star kids I can go after are from our own state, which is Iowa. So for now, let's go look at our pipelines. Just we want to verify which ones those are. Florida is still a pipeline. Again, we can only recruit 3-star and below for this, but that's still a pipeline, which is good. Illinois is a pipeline, which is good, but again, it's the same thing, 3-star and below. Then we have Iowa. So we got a 4-star kid, a 4-star, a 3, and a 3. So we got a couple receivers. I don't really need receivers per se. If you go back, let's see. Receivers, we got 6 on the roster that are coming back. I may take a chance on one of these 4-star kids because that's the only options we have. The rest of these are just little 3-stars. I may just go after one because, again, we're loaded there. We got a bunch of young guys coming up. But I'm going to take a chance on probably this guy. He's a little smarter, a little faster, and he's much taller. Let's just 4.29's fast. I mean, that kid looks like a Randy Moss type, but I guess he's just not as talented. But he's tall and he's fast. Who knows? So let's just go ahead and take a chance on Derek Washington. The rest of these guys, we don't need a cornerback. So we're good there. Let me just look. Yeah, we got 6 guys coming back. We're fine. And he doesn't really fit what I'm looking for anyways. I need somebody who's much faster than a 4.39. So that's it for Iowa. The other pipeline should be Texas. Let's go find it. Just want to make sure I got to do this a little slower so I don't miss anything. Texas is the other pipeline. We shouldn't have any other ones if I'm not mistaken, and that's correct. So let's go back to Texas. That's been a great pipeline for us. And let's go through here and see what we can find. So we don't need any quarterbacks. We got 30 on the roster. Halfback, we kind of need somebody. So we're going to run the ball a little bit more in this offense, especially because our quarterback can't run around much. But I want to add just a little bit more to the running game. For now, I'm going to put a scholarship. I may wait on this kid. You have no clue if he can catch the ball. We still need our halfbacks to be able to catch it, but I don't need direct speed either. I need somebody who can run the ball at least a little bit. This guy might be able to, but we'll just wait on that for now. But for now, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put him on there, and I can take it off later if needed. Okay, fullback, don't have to worry about it. Receiver, I'm not going to bother. Tight end, we're good at tight end. Again, we don't have a whole lot to play with here in terms of roster amount of players and spots. Offensive linemen, we got 5 coming back, and they're all pretty young. Guard the same way. Center, I may can find me another one that could be worth going after. If this guy had like an A awareness, I may try going after him. Defensive end, we got 4 on the roster. I probably need to go pick up another one. So we can find maybe a 3-star kid that's fast. Like this kid, I don't really need. I mean, he kind of could be a right end, and we need more right ends. But that's still too slow. I need at least some speed there. Even at right end, I need some speed, and 4.78 is way too slow. A defensive tackle, I do need some help. 6'3", 310. I'm going to go ahead and put a scholarship on that kid. We need at least 1, if not 2 more defensive tackles. Outside linebacker, I need speed. 4.52, that's fast. I wish his awareness was a little bit better, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and put a scholarship on him. And here are 2 3-star middle linebackers. Here's a guy that's 4'6". I can go ahead and put one on him. And then what about cornerback? We're kind of good here. I mean, this kid, if he was like really tall, I may would go after him. But again, I just don't know if he'll ever see the field much. Free safety, 4-star, can't do it. Strong safety, they don't have one. So those are the 4 out of Texas we're going to look at. Let's go over to Florida. And we'll do the same thing. We don't need a quarterback. What about this halfback? Here's a 3-star kid, 4.39. He may be a good one. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and put a scholarship on him. Wide receiver, we don't need. Tight end, we're good. We're good with all those. Defensive end, these guys are 4 stars. What about defensive tackle? Nope. Outside linebacker, here's a 3-star, 4.6. I can go ahead and put one on him. Middle linebacker, a bunch of 4 stars. I can't do it. Corner, again, we're kind of good here. Unless they ran like a 4-1 or something. Free safety. So we're having issues at free safety in terms of just finding guys who could be decent. And this guy's got C- awareness. I like his speed. 4.41's good enough for me. I just don't know if he'd ever see the field, so I'm not going to bother there. Strong safety, 4.43. Let me just look here. We got 3 coming back. But what's the odds of him being really, really good? I don't know. But 4.43 is kind of fast for strong safety. I actually don't mind putting one. Let's just go ahead and put one on him, and we'll just see. So that is it for Florida. The other pipeline we have is Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go look here. This produces quite a bit of talent. Let's look at this halfback group. Here's a 3-star, 4.52, 6'3", 211. I'm going to go take a chance. We'll see. Wide receiver, no. None of the offensive linemen we need. Let's go defensive end. Here's a 3-star, 4.6. Really small, like 200-pounder. That's really small. I don't know if I should go after him or not. I'm going to back off on him. Defensive tackle. Here's a 3-star, 6'4", 277. I don't really need a ton of size here since we run so many defensive tackles. I'm going to go ahead and put a scholarship on him anyways. Again, we need bodies there. Outside linebacker, 4-star, no. Middle linebacker, 4-star, no. Cornerback, again, if there was somebody super fast, I would bother with it. Free safety, no. Nope. Strong safety, no. So we got 2 spots left. I think I may go back to Iowa. And we can just look here. 4.39 corner. Here's Zach Guidry out of, this is the only reason I'm doing it just because they're in-state kids. Like, I'll go ahead and just look at these 3 receivers. Let's just go ahead and do that. And I'll just I may pick one if they're good enough. We'll see. So my scholarships are done. So that was quick. Didn't take too long. Let's go ahead and sim the week. And then we'll go pick up about maybe 3 or 4 guys at the most. I may just do 4. And just because the recruiting class is going to be so small. Let's back out. Let's go to recruiting. And let's check out, do we have any positive pitches? That's the first thing I look for. If you got a positive pitch, you got a really good chance of getting him. So far, I am not seeing one, which is not a big deal. And that's it. Not a single positive pitch, again, which is fine. All right. I definitely need a halfback. The first thing I want to look at are some of these halfbacks. So you notice they rank all these by their talent. Like they assume these three receivers are the best of all of these guys right here. But I definitely need another halfback. And we struggle to get halfbacks in the offseason because we don't run the ball enough. But here's what we got to look at. Matt Sullivan out of Illinois, C+ hands 4.52. Let's go look at another one. Trey Williams, B, C on the hands out of Florida. What about this kid right here? 4.48 B out of Texas. I kind of like this kid, Jason Rio. I think he fits our offense the best of the three. So that's what we'll go with. Let's do 25 for now. I think the most I'll do is like go after 4 kids. We'll go 25 for now. Apparently this middle linebacker is just like the worst of the bunch right there. So let's go back to the top. So we got 3 wide receivers out of Iowa. 2 4-stars. So here's a 4.29 A-, the Washington kid. 4.35 A+ for Hawkins. And then 4.39 A-. I think it's one of these two. Do you go after both? I don't know. I mean, this guy right here is a little bit stronger and he's got better hands. He's just not as big, but that's okay. I just need somebody who can really catch. And he's just a little bit faster. I'll probably need to go after both, but we got so many bodies there to begin with. This offense, I prioritize hands above everything else. Having been a 6'4" receiver sounds cool, but having A+ hand sounds even better. So I'm going to put points on this guy right here. We'll go 25 for now. Defensive tackle, let me look at this kid right here out of Illinois. 6'4", 277. The biggest thing is how strong he is. 440, 605. That's not very strong. And we got 460, 570. That kid is much stronger, and I just need help there. So I'm going to go ahead and put 25 on him. And I think the last one I may do is an outside linebacker. Yes, let's go try that. So let's look at these two guys right here. Chris Rogers, 4.6 A- compared to 4.52 C-. Alan Peterson. I think this is the kid we need to go after. I need speed here in the worst way. This kid runs a 4.60. I'm just looking at the middle linebacker. I think we're going to go after this one. I think that's going to help us out. He may play here in a couple of seasons, but we're going to go right there. So we'll just go after those 4 alone, and I think that fits what I'm looking for. So we're going to go after one receiver. Again, you go back, we got so many young receivers. I don't know if either one of these guys will ever see the field, but I wanted to pick one. So we're going after Hawkins. Yes, I know my 4-star recruiting rule, I get that, but I don't need both. I think one's just fine. If it was a bigger need, I would do that. And if we ran 4 and 5 wide receiver sets a lot, I would do that, but we don't. We barely play 3 at a time. So we're going after him. We're going to go after this defensive tackle, Kyle Johnson out of Texas. We're going to go after this outside linebacker, Alan Peterson out of Texas. And last but not least, this little halfback, Jason Rio, which I think could be halfway decent for us. Now, his awareness is terrible. His overall rating ain't going to be good because of that. But he's got a good enough hands, and he could run the ball, and he's a little bit stronger than the other ones, if not mistaken. Let me just, hold on. 570, 605. I still need somebody who can catch. That's the key here. That's why I'm going after him, because we still run a West Coast offense. I don't mind going after him. I think he'll be just fine for us. All right, so those are the 4 we're going to go after. So in our next video, we are going to play our first game of the season, and we're going to go up against Kentucky. I think they run like a pro-style offense and like a 3-4 defense. That defense will be a little bit different to what we're used to seeing, so I'm looking forward to that. But hopefully we can start off the season right with a win. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.